Christina Pulver here today, recruiting coordinator at Forza One, and I'm sitting with assistant coach Meghan Keck at Marquette University in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great.
Very excited to be here.
I know. I'm so excited to be sitting down with you and to help everyone get to know a little bit more about your beautiful university. So how's it going? How are you guys doing keeping in touch with the team? What have you been doing to keep them busy?
Yeah, so what I would say is Ryan, our head coach, has a little bit different philosophy maybe than some of the other schools across the country. His philosophy in general is that he does not really like to waste our players' time. And so kind of throughout a normal year, we're very cautious about putting extra things on for them and making sure that we're being respectful of their time and understanding that a lot of people put extra things on them. And so we try to do as much as we can to not, essentially. And so, I would say our approach has been a little bit different. We started off kind of easing into things, and maybe every other week we did, a get to know you trivia with the team, or actually today we're playing bingo. And we've tried to make it more fun and interactive. And now we're kind of do weekly. So when the NCAA kind of changed things from voluntary to mandatory or whatever it could be required, we've kind of gone more to once a week. But it's more still for team building and activities. And we've tried not to do too much to overwhelm them from a volleyball perspective and things like that. And we trust them to kind of be on their own, and hopefully they're doing, what they think they need to do in order to be ready when we can come back to play and things like that. But yeah, and then we make weekly calls. One of our coaching staff calls each of them individually every week so that we can kind of touch base on an individual basis and things like that. So now we're actually progressing into trying to build a little bit more team chemistry as well. So we're going to do small groups where each little group has to make sure that they're communicating each week and stuff as well. So we've tried to do it more of like a team bonding, team chemistry necessarily than getting better at volleyball, because it's just, I don't know, Ryan kind of doesn't if they don't really want to watch international film and they do it on their own, that's great, but we're trying to take more of an approach of not overwhelming them and just kind of for mental health and trying to keep them engaged. So
well, I mean, congratulations on an amazing season. Beating number 9 ranked BYU and then number 4 ranked Wisconsin early in September. Incredible. And then going on to the second round of NCAAs, you really turned a lot of heads, and I definitely have a lot of people asking more about Marquette University.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you. It was unfortunately, we actually had some injuries towards the middle half of conference play, and so we started off, we were, I think, ranked 7th in the country. We ended up 20th, and we had 2 attackers go down with some injuries, and one of our setters had a concussion, and so it was a great start and still a great season. Last year we went to the Sweet 16. And so our team's goal obviously was in every year, our program's goal is to advance further than we've been, the year before, in the history of the program. And so it got off to a pretty awesome start, and we were kind of rolling there and had a few little things in the middle that kind of, it was still great. We had some younger players step in and play some bigger roles, which I think will help us this coming season and things like that. But yeah, it was a great overall season. Winning that first round of the NCAA tournament, I think was really gave the team some motivation and things at the end of the season as well. So yeah, it was a fun year.
Yeah,
wish we were back there.
I know, right? So you've been with Ryan for a long time. 2014 at Marquette, and then before that, Ohio University. Tell us.
You're really good at this.
Hey, well, that's a strong stat. Why work with Ryan? Tell us what makes him special.
So funny. Well, so most people call me Ryan's work wife, and actually his real wife Jen was a a two-time All-American SEC Player of the Year at Florida, and she's in their Hall of Fame. So she's pretty studly. She's much more, much better at volleyball than I am. But as far as working with Ryan, I would say I actually was the volunteer at Northwestern in 2005. And Ryan and his wife, Jen, were both the assistant coaches. And so that's kind of where I met them. And actually it was the best season in Northwestern volleyball history. I don't know if it's changed since then, but it was a really fun year and a really cool experience. And so they really, Ryan and Keeler, the head coach, had kind of really got me excited about coaching collegiate volleyball. And so when Ryan got the head coaching job at Ohio University, I think it was in 2008, a couple of years later, I was pretty excited to go and join his staff. And so I think Ryan and I just have a lot of similar philosophies, and it's been, that's important to me, I think, to work with someone that is open and accepting of people. And he really, I think he's really good at relating to 18 to 22-year-old females, probably better than I am, where sometimes they make me like, he's just really calm and cool and really good at kind of helping solve their problems or whatever their situations might be. And so I've just, I don't know, I'm for me, life is about being happy and enjoying life. And so when I found someone that I worked really well with, it was important to kind of continue that. And so, I think he treats the players really well. I think our culture, to me, is one of the best cultures in the country. And we don't have a lot of drama. We don't have a lot of issues. Players typically get along. And what I think Ryan does really well is if, say there's a playing time issue or something, he'll address it right away. And he's very realistic about life. And I feel like I'm a pretty realistic person as well. I don't think either of us are like super optimistic. I don't think we're super pessimistic, but I think we're just really realistic in our approaches to, working with our team. And so we try to find players that fit that culture as well. And so I think that's kind of why we've been pretty successful. And he's fun to work with too. I mean, we do a lot of fun things, and I don't like to sit around hotels and things like that all the time. So it's important for me to enjoy the experience. And so it's really been, I think, about 13 years we've worked together, and it's been a lot of fun. I said we've obviously had our ups and downs, but overall I couldn't have asked for a better experience up until this point. So
that's awesome. What a special blessing to be able to work with someone that you just thrive with so much, right?
Yeah. Yep. I was very lucky to find him and his wife, Jen, and kind of them be my away from home family for the last couple of years. So.
Well, that's awesome. Well, obviously it's working. So, so let's talk a little bit more about Marquette as a university. I've been hearing the name Marquette my whole life. My father-in-law, who I've known for many, many years, he graduated from there, and it's just incredible. So you tell us, what makes it so special?
Yeah. So to me, what makes Marquette really special is the people, and it's just a different environment and a different culture than maybe some of the other universities I've worked at in the past. And Ryan always gives this story, and it kind of to me shows a little bit of what Marquette is the first week that he came to work here, he was living in the on-campus apartments. And he actually went to UWM, which is Wisconsin-Milwaukee, which is kind of the north side of the city. And he always kind of thought, that the students at Marquette were a little like stuck up, essentially. And so he got here, and he kind of, was living in the apartments, and he couldn't believe how courteous the students were, as far as there were guys that were holding doors for him as he was walking in, and just everyone was just so welcoming. And so I just think that there's a little bit second level to a lot of the students on the campus, as far as they're respectful and they're I don't know, there's more to them just than partying, if that makes sense. And they have fun too, don't get me wrong. I think Marquette students have fun, but I think that there's just a maturity level that's really pretty cool of, even within the athletic department, within our team,
Sure.
of just really great, genuine people that are, have a little bit higher meaning in life, if that makes sense, for their
Yeah.
college experience. So
Okay. Well, you mentioned the athletic department. That's kind of a common question I'll get. Tell us
yeah.
about, the culture of the athletic department and then how the different sports intermingle with volleyball.
Very cool. Yeah. So, Marquette's athletic department is a little bit smaller. So we don't have football, which is different, but we still have, big time basketball, and the athletic department is very invested in, athletics and the programs being successful and things like that. And so what's neat is because it's a little bit smaller department, it's much easier for the student athletes to interact and for them to know each other. And the Al McGuire Center, where our team actually practices and plays, and our locker room is, and we have kind of our training table areas and stuff in there. So they spend a lot of time in that facility, but there's also, that's where the academic center is. And so there's, a very small area, I guess, essentially, that the student athletes kind of congregate in. And so it's easy for them to kind of get to know each other. And because the university, doesn't have 35,000 students as well, you'll have student athletes in all of your classes, and you'll know them and you'll see them as you're walking around campus. And, kind of one of the things I think that makes the department itself special is, I forget how many, we have this 100 and some athletes, so it's not that big, but so you'll go into the weight room and, our head strength and conditioning knows every single student athlete's name, and same with athletic training. You'll go in there and the athletic training staff, they'll know every single student athlete's name. So it's just a little bit more of a personal feel because the department's not so big, but at the same time, most of the programs at Marquette are pretty successful and, support each other. And it's, easy again to get from facility to facility to support the women's tennis team or to support track and field. And our men's basketball plays downtown, which is it's about 6 blocks from, where our arena is. And so, all the students will go and watch the basketball games and things like that. So it's a pretty fun athletic environment for sure.
No, that's awesome. And, it's funny when every once in a while I'll get someone says, oh, well, I really want to school with a football program. And I'm like, why? You're a volleyball player. You're not going to get to go to any of the football games anyway.
Yeah, and it's different, and it's not for everyone. Yeah, it's definitely not for everyone, but I still think we've got a really great athletic department feel. And I think, the reason I think our volleyball program has been so successful over the last couple of years is we're the premier sport in the fall at Marquette. We're the sport that they're investing a lot of money in and in trying to build the attendance and trying to get we're the sport being promoted essentially on our campus in our city. And so it's pretty cool. You feel pretty special as far as the way the department and the university treats the volleyball players.
So how many fans will you get at an average game?
Yeah, so we were in the top 50 in attendance this year. So it's something that we, actually last year I took over. Ryan used to kind of work with the marketing staff, and it's something that, it took us a couple years to build since we started. This was our 6th year. And so the first couple years we weren't super concerned about it because we were a little bit more concerned about building our team and our program. But so our arena, the Al McGuire Center, I think is one of the best volleyball environments in the country. And we have a Terraflex floor. The arena seats about 4,000, which is just, I think, a perfect volleyball venue size. And so, when we played Wisconsin last year, we sold out. We're planning to play them again this year, hopefully, and we'll sell out. And so for most of our bigger matches, we'll have 2,000-3,000 fans at those matches. So yeah, it's a pretty cool environment when we bring some of the bigger higher top 25 kind of level competition into the Al McGuire Center. It's a pretty cool environment. Our band's at every game. We've got a really cool student section. So yeah, we'll have a DJ at for sure all of our Friday night games, which is fun. So yeah, so definitely invested in making that a priority, and we've had some pretty awesome crowds in the past. So
awesome. Yeah. So tell me, let's talk a little bit about travel within your conference. You
Ooh,
know,
okay.
obviously a stellar conference. What does that look like? When do you guys play your games, and how does it work with academics? So that's like a two-part
Cool.
question.
Yeah. So the Big East Conference is a little bit spread out. So we essentially have a lot of teams on the East Coast, and then we've got several teams kind of in the Midwest region. And so, we fly. We actually we charter private planes to a lot of our matches as well. And so, from an academic standpoint, that helps. So we'll obviously we don't charter every trip, but we'll charter a good portion of kind of our travel is private planes, and so that helps with kind of working around class times, or we can come home on a if we have a Wednesday midweek game, we can come home Wednesday night, or if it's just get home Saturday night after a weekend. But our conference, what's nice about it is we play Fridays and Saturday nights typically. We have typically 2 to 4 midweek games as well that we'll play on Wednesdays, kind of early in the conference season. But travel's pretty. What's pretty nice is in the city of Milwaukee, and all of the Big East schools are in major cities as well, and so our airport is 15 minutes from campus, and so driving 15 minutes getting to the airport, which is a pretty easy airport, traveling, and most of the other campuses in our conference are within a half hour of the airport as well, and so travel is really pretty easy. But so I think from an academic standpoint, our student athletes are pretty lucky. We've had situations, we've had players that maybe had a test or something Thursday, and so we've flown them separate with our director of ops, and they've come Friday morning and things like that. So we're definitely willing to make different adjustments and things like that for our team if we need to. But for the most part, I think our conference isn't too complicated, which is great. Now, just kind of touching on travel, we were talking a little bit before. So Ryan and I like to have fun, and we we want, the Big East cities are really pretty cool. So we'll get to go to New York City, we'll get to go to Washington, D.C. And so when we go to these trips, we try as much as we can to, not every trip, but do some fun things. So this past fall, when we were in New York, we went to see Wicked on Broadway with the team, which was super fun. And I'm a huge Broadway buff, so of course that's going to be something we do. But when we do travel to some of the cool cities in the Big East or in our preseason, we'll try to make sure that we're getting some experiences that that the players wouldn't have if they weren't a part of Marquette volleyball. So actually, when we played at BYU in the preseason, we went to what's the Winter Olympic Park, and we rode roller coasters. There we go, Park City. I'm like, I can't remember. And we rode some roller coasters, down the mountains, and so we try to make sure that, and we'd like to get to some of our players that maybe aren't from Wisconsin. We go to their hometown, so we're actually scheduled to go to Arizona this preseason. I don't know if it's going to happen, but when we have a senior that's from the Phoenix area, and so we try to get to people's hometowns and stuff as well, so we can see where they're from. So
I love it. That's unique. I love that he takes the time and he lets, really that's what do we remember the most? I mean, I know I remember like the crazy bus rides or the silly stuff when I wasn't on the court. Of course you remember the big events, but no, I think that's really special that he takes the time to keep developing that whole person as well and build so many memories. What do you guys prefer in a typical season, them to come to summer school, or what's your philosophy on that?
Yeah, so Marquette actually has 2 summer sessions, and they actually changed it about 2 or 3 years ago because the president wanted to give people the 4th of July off. Okay. So our summer session 2 actually starts a little bit later, so it starts right after the 4th of July. And so all of our players will come back for summer session 2. And I would say typically, now this summer is a little different, but typically most summers will have a good majority of our team that will do both summer sessions, which the first summer session, it's hard to say, typically will start I think it's like mid-May is when summer session 1 would start. And so we typically have a couple that will do most of our upperclassmen. And so, but all of our team will be there for the second summer, and we'll be there working out and with our strength and conditioning coach and playing volleyball and doing what they can on their own. We do, we have a good, I would say a good portion of our team from within maybe 5 hours of driving.
Okay.
And so a lot of them might, even if they're not enrolled in summer session 1, they'll come maybe for a week or 2 and work out in that first summer with the other players that are here. And so we'll have some of our players from further away that will fly in and just kind of come and work out. And I think that that's part of just the culture that we've built, and nothing's required, but if you want to be in the top 25 and play at that level, we try to recruit players that are motivated to do that. So
right. And do you and Ryan like the players or encourage the players to live together, or what's your thoughts on like freshman, sophomore? Are they on campus, off campus?
Yeah. So our freshmen and sophomores have to live on campus.
Okay.
And we have kind of a quad style living. So it's 2 bedrooms with a kitchenette area, living area, bathroom, and they're really nice. And so we typically, it's 4 student athletes in those, in each apartment style, I guess you'd say. So we try to get all of our freshmen and sophomores to live together. If we have an odd number or something, we might grab another student athlete from another sport to work with or to live with them. But yeah, so we like for them to live together as much as they can. And then after sophomore year, they have the option of living on campus in on-campus apartments or off-campus in off-campus apartments. And our team, they do typically they all live together. Ryan asks he has to approve their decisions. So if they want to, like a couple years ago, we had a group that wanted to live in a house, and he essentially said it wasn't a good idea, and he'll have veto power on kind of what they want to do. And so, but they all live in on-campus apartments or off-campus apartments. We've got some brand new apartments that are right off campus that a lot of our team will live in. And same thing, they can live with other student athletes, but most of them right now, all of our players live together. So in groups of 3 or 4 essentially.
Yeah. Okay, that's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm curious, with Marquette University, how do they develop the athlete for after volleyball? The real world, maybe some career placement types of centers, internships. Do they have time for those?
Yeah, really good. So what's unique about Milwaukee and Marquette is because we're in a city, all students start very early on with doing, whether it's observation. If you're going to be a student, if you're looking to be a teacher, you'll actually be in the classroom of students of whatever, observing as early as freshman year.
Wow.
And same thing, if you're interested in the medical field, we have a hospital right down the block, and so your observation hours and things like that. So from more of a university standpoint, it starts pretty early on with trying to really embrace that we're in a city and get to work with the community and try and gain some experience that way. Our players, we do have a lot of our team that does internships. And again, I think the proximity to being downtown,
right.
They can walk to. So we had one of our seniors that just graduated was a supply chain management. So she was in business essentially. And she worked at an internship at Harley Davidson, and they were really flexible, so she would do it. She'd go to class and she'd go to practice, and she'd go down there because it was pretty easy for her to get down there and work a couple hours every day. And most of the players that we've had that have done internships, the companies have just been awesome as far as they're excited to have student athletes in their organization, and we've had several that have gone on to get I think Marquette was like top 6 or something like that as far as job placement after college in the country. So it's very, very a lot of our players that did their internships actually got job offers from those companies and stuff from there. And then I would say, our athletic department, again, I think because it's a little bit smaller, our SAC and our student athlete development, they do a really, really good job with kind of career fairs and opportunities for the players to do things. I kind of talked about, community service is also huge at Marquette as far as, I think, all students on campus do it, but our athletic department is, I would say, one of the best as far as helping with the community and things like that. We had, I don't think they're doing it this summer, but last summer our team went to Europe with the team. So 2 summers ago, we had some players. We've actually had 2 groups go and kind of build courts in Costa Rica and so it's all paid for by donors and supports. And so the athletic department, essentially you could apply to for this service trip and go down to Costa Rica, I think is what they did the one time. And then I think we had a group go to Puerto Rico and build houses as well. And then we had several players that I think we're signing up for this summer, but it doesn't, assuming that's not happening. So that's kind of a cool opportunity that the department actually provides as well. So we've had there's lots of different things.
Yeah, no, I think, just different universities when they're close to downtowns, like you're mentioning, especially business, the different connections that you have, that's incredible. So what do they do when they're not playing volleyball on a free weekend? Are they going downtown, or what else is there to do around Milwaukee?
Yeah, so about a mile from our campus it's called the Third Ward District, and it has a public market. It has a Lululemon, which, I mean, who doesn't, I go there every day. But anyway, so there's all sorts of shops and restaurants and bars. And so they'll kind of go to that area quite a bit because they could walk. Most of the time, I think they would they'd drive or take an Uber down there, but it's a little over a mile from campus, I think, is the public market. And so there's all sorts of different nooks and crannies like that throughout the city. But I think most of that, we had a senior that is from Louisville and just came in, and she came in for basically to pick up her cap and gown, and she was going to take some pictures, and she was like, oh, I just can't, I miss it so much. I went to the public market today, and so that's kind of one area. We also are on the lakefront. So, which a lot of people not from the Midwest or that are familiar with Milwaukee would know. So we actually have beaches, which is different than similar to California, but a little bit different. Is so we have the lakefront. So our team actually in the summer, one of the biggest things that they do is they, most of them are only in one summer class, so they'll go down to the beach and hang out, and they'll play some beach doubles and things like that. But they spend most of their summer, and that's why I said most of them are here all summer. And the secret is Milwaukee's a pretty cool place in the summer, so most of them actually want to be here just because there's a lot of really cool things to do. We also the city of Milwaukee hosts the Summerfest music concert. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's the world's biggest music event I guess, in the world. And so it's about 2 weeks of, free stages and then paid stages where, they'll have some headliners come in and things like that. So our team likes to go to Summerfest and hang out and things like that. And so, that's kind of some of the bigger things that they like to do. Milwaukee has tons of other festivals throughout the summer and stuff as well. So it's a pretty cool city. And the Milwaukee Bucks, actually, their owner, we just built a new arena that our basketball team plays at as well, which is one of the best new NBA arenas in the country. But he's done a lot to the city of Milwaukee as far as he's invested a lot of funds. And so in the last 6 years that I've lived in the city, there's just been some really cool new things kind of going up. We were actually supposed to host the Democratic National Convention or something coming up. So they've been doing, which was cool for the city because there was a lot of cool progress being made. Kind of a bummer that it didn't happen, but yeah. So it's a really cool city, and it's gone through some really cool changes in the last couple of years too. So.
No, it sounds amazing. I'm trying to go through. You've been so informative for us and painting a really cool picture of what it's like to be there as a volleyball player and as a student. What in terms of the GPA? I know Marquette is definitely has a great reputation for academics. What on the volleyball team, and then maybe entering into it, what's kind of that average GPA you look for?
Yeah, so our team GPA has been around a 3.4. We actually we got the AVCA academic award last year, a 3.3. I think it's that you need a 3.3. So, for us, I think when we're looking for players that fit our program is, maybe just a little bit of we've got all sorts of players. So we've got players that want to go on, and we just had a 2-time All-American or 3-time All-American that just graduated that has no interest in playing professionally, but she wants to be a doctor. And so, for her, academics was huge, and, she needed to be really successful in the classroom. And we have a player that graduated 2 years ago that has played on, been a part of the national team, has been playing professionally, and she was more focused on the volleyball side of things. She was an engineer major and was super smart, but for her, volleyball was a little bit more her drive. And so we have kind of a variety on our team as far as players that might want to go and play professionally and players that really want to pursue academics. And that's kind of, Ryan loves that. I think we want to help players pursue what they need to pursue. And so we're looking for good students that, are going to be successful in the classroom. So I think 3.3, 3.4, but, we can obviously make some exceptions and things like that, if that makes sense. But I think for overall, the quality of student in our program, they want to be successful in everything they do in life, a lot of our team. And so we've got good students, we've got good people, we've got good volleyball players. And so, I guess we're looking for a little bit of a balance at some point of making sure that academics is somewhat important to you, if that makes sense. But yeah, and Marquette has some really good programs as far as nationally ranked and things like that. So a lot of it depends a little bit too on kind of what you're looking to get into. So
yeah, no, absolutely. Well, thank you. This has been awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll encourage players to get on and look at your virtual tours, and keep us posted. I know there's probably not a lot going on with summer camps, but just keep us posted on timelines, and we'll continue to help people get to know more about your university.
Yeah, well, thanks for doing this. This was fun. I said I'm actually hate public speaking, but I kind of like the Zoom thing.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of right up my alley of you're kind of in your room by yourself. But
no, I love it. It's very relaxed, and you are really informative, like I said. But no, just great job, and we wish you guys the best of luck in the fall.
Yeah, thank you. We'll be in touch. We'll talk to you later.
Sure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.